Hello and welcome to another episode of Fearless and Free TV. I am so excited to bring my guests on this morning, April and Jay Matta. I've known them for about 10 years, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we met, what they've been up to, where they've been, and what they're up to now. And so I'm really excited to share them with you. And before I bring them on, I need to share something else that's exciting in my life. I'm going to be a presenter this weekend at an event called SGW Cafe. This is an event that's being presented by Spirituality Gone Wild. And it is all about abundance, the spirit of abundance. And I'm going to show you this really quick so that you know how to find it. If you follow this link at sgwcafe.com, that's where you can register for the event. It is free. So there's no obligation to, buy anything or any of that. It is a free event of service to humanity. And I am one of, I think, 18 speakers, 18 presenters. And I'll find that image for you really quick so you can see. See, there's a bunch of us. And a lot of these presenters are part of Spirituality Gone Wild. So you know them from their shows. And then there are some other experts on that are doing some really amazing things in the world. So I hope that you can join us this weekend. And that is, I just wanted to let you know about that. And I'm going to bring my guests in so you can meet them and they can introduce themselves, and we're going to have a great time for the next hour. So welcome, April and Jay.
Victoria.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having us today.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. So I've known you guys since, I was thinking this morning, I think you were officially my first online interview.
Is that right?
I think it was, I remember something like that. Yes, it was really, really early. You were like just starting.
Yeah. And I can't remember how I found you or how you found me. I don't even know if I'd published.
Oh, I remember. We had, what was the name of that? Remember that you filled out
guest list?
Yeah, the guest list. What was it?
Radio guest list?
Radio guest list inquiry. We had put out a call or whatever you do, whatever you want to call it, and you had replied to the radio guest list request.
Okay. Oh, so that's the one. I think I still get that one in the mail every once a day.
And you will get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it works. That's how I picked up a couple of, that's how I got on NBC from a show from filling out that guest list. And
yeah.
So, and I remember I came on to talk about a different subject, but you guys were so curious about polygamy because I grew up in that. We ended up talking about that the entire time.
I know, it's so funny. It's like, geez, when you think about it, it's been over 10 years ago, but it's like you blink your eyes. Yeah, exactly. Speed, right? We're like 10 years later.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I gotta hide this.
Younger.
There we go. And I remember that your tagline now is the ass whipping truth, but your tagline at the time was "No topic is too taboo."
It's really funny that you just said that.
So funny you were just saying that.
Because we're actually going back to that tagline.
Really?
Yeah.
I just started redoing because we're rebranding it.
Yeah,
it's no topic is taboo, and the reason also. Because the ass whipping truth, even though I do love it, we're getting censored from it. From when you want to put it out more, a lot of people, because even though they're open, places are open, but they're still on that conservative line. They don't like that word right there, ass, right there. So that's what it is. Yeah. So we're actually going back to
no topic is taboo.
No topic is taboo.
And I like that. And you guys were talking about things 10 years ago that now is like mainstream, which I find fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Back then you were talking about aliens and channeling and psychics and stuff like that, 10 years ago was, whoa, so crazy and out of this world. And now people are like, oh yeah, no big deal.
Exactly. Back then it was like, really almost taboo. That's where
Well, you
the
didn't
line
have,
the tagline came from.
Yeah, and you didn't have social media so prominent then either. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it was that.
Right.
I mean, social media, I think, just had an explosion. What in the last whatever 7, 8 years,
7 or
maybe.
8
But at
years.
that time, it was still going through its. People were still getting comfortable with using it, especially
Right.
YouTube. I think at that time YouTube you could only upload like 15-minute videos.
15-minute maximum videos. Yeah.
Oh, it actually went through a change. So I discovered YouTube. I've had my YouTube channel since 2011. So when I first discovered YouTube, they actually allowed entire movies to be put
Wow.
on. And then they said, oh, we need to like not do that. And then they chopped it down to 15 minutes. So you're only allowed to put on 15 minutes. And then it went back to being able to allow other things. And they added the YouTube Red so people could watch actual movies. But it started out being, full feature films were on there. A lot of them were pirated. So they had to kind of figure out how to not have it.
Right. I remember that actually now that you're saying it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But you guys were around even before that.
Yeah.
Because
So
you had that online TV show.
Yeah. We had that, and we were hosting all of our videos then on our own website, Spiritually Raw TV at that time, which was the website. So everything was just running right there. While we were building out. And before that, though, we were radio for about a year. Right? We were just mainly radio.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I've known you guys all this time, and what I've noticed is that you always tend to be right on the leading edge of what's next and what's coming. And I was saying, Jay, to you a couple of days ago, you guys helped me build my first website, and it was a community-based website. And it was
Exactly.
I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, I have this community, but what do I do with it? And I ended up going a different direction. But at the time, nobody was doing communities. Facebook didn't even do communities. Facebook was even a brand new thing.
It was a brand new thing.
And what's fascinating is that literally 6 months ago, I had my website rebranded. I have what I call my webmaster who rebranded my website. And she was asking me if I wanted a community. And I said, no, nobody's doing communities anymore. People are community to death. And that was 6 months ago. And things have already shifted so fast that people are going back to communities. And I might have to put a community back on my website because that's what people are asking for now.
That's great.
There'll always be that. There'll always be that longing. You know what I mean, to be connected to each other. And so now that we have the internet, it's just the virtual side of being able to get connected to each other now. So I think communities, while they may be a fad or a phase, they'll come back. You know what I mean?
They think they already are, really. And
I think what it is that before people were doing their Facebook communities, but they're just not working anymore. People want another place to be able to connect.
Yeah.
Right. You are more and more people are really just knowing that it's just so critical, especially during this time. It's so critical to be aligned with your like source. You know what I mean? Energetically. And so it's crucial. So it's the best way to do it. And I think it's probably why we're all seeing them come. I saw that too, where they were going away and now they're coming back.
Because like what we just experienced, you turn on YouTube one day and you're getting ready to watch your favorite channel, and the next thing you know, the channel's gone. Yeah. So people feel like, I just lost my friends. I just lost my family. I just lost the people that understand me. I just lost the whole connection that, I've been connecting with for over a year. So I think people are, it's like a safety net. And when that safety net gets taken down, you feel even more lost. You feel even more vulnerable. And I think people feel safer now with their own housing, their own stuff, with their own website.
Right.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more of that right now.
Yeah. And that's kind of the sense that I was getting, is that people are looking for a safe place to play.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even now in Facebook, if they say one wrong word, that their group gets taken down, or
getting worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, really bad before, but it's absolutely getting worse. And I mean, it's not even like a little bit getting worse. It's progressively getting worse really quickly, which is not good. It's really, when you think about it, it's frightening. The freedom of speech is literally gone, and it's not coming back anytime soon right now.
Right. And so they'll use the excuse that it's because it's a private organization, and as a private organization, they can censor people, right? But wasn't there there was when the internet and these social media sites were created, there was a legislation that said that that people were free to say what they wanted to say, and that these websites could not act as news sources.
Like
Right.
publishers, yeah.
Yes, publishers,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's what they do. They're kind of stepping out of line and stepping into the line of publishing, where that regulation of freedom of speech now.
Well,
Absolutely, they have.
the reality is that, you think about it. I mean, we definitely have experienced it ourselves multiple times, right? As far as censorship, but even then, looking at it that from a real logical point of view, it's not the heads of those social media companies that are the problem. It is the people that enable the laws. And so when we see them bring them in to say, hey, come into Congress or Senate and tell us why you're doing this, it's really all for show, because they have the ability to be able to make these things change, as you know. And then so it's all that's all for show right there. So it's really, what are you going to do? These people are private businesses.
Mhm.
They're gonna be able to make what they want. The people who enacted the laws or who made the laws, they're not enforcing the law. So it's really, I think we probably, when I think about it, I think like, hey, let's put our energy towards the lawmakers,
Right.
not social media owners or heads of the social media owners, because they have, just like us, they have the right to say or believe whatever they want. And if they feel like, hey, we don't want you here, that's truly technically their prerogative right now, because nobody's enforcing it.
Right. And I think a lot of those are starting to phase out because their information is so filtered and the algorithms only show you what, I used to go on Facebook and it was just this beautiful stream of just enlightening, loving things. And that's not what the algorithm.
Those days.
Do you remember that? Facebook was like, be inspired. And that was my news stream, was this good news that streamed on my Facebook page every day. And it's not like that anymore.
Well, you know what? I mean, that all turned when Trump is the reason when Trump went down the escalator is when everything started to turn.
Yeah.
Started to turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a divide.
Because they knew that, they were losing control. They had control before, but they knew that this was a whole nother movement was starting to brew, and we're losing control. We're losing control. And
social media is
radical decisions. Yeah.
Sorry. I was talking over you. Yeah, I was just saying that social media became a war zone, and it's not fun. It's not a fun place to play anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
awful. Yeah. And that was the catalyst. Trump going down the escalator was the catalyst, and it's only just progressively gotten worse.
Mm-hmm. So what I've been sensing, what Spirit's been showing me lately, is that we need to create new social media sites on blockchain technology.
Amen.
Because they are not owned by anybody. The people of the planet actually own those sites, and nobody can censor them because it's owned by the people. And I think we're going to start seeing more and more and more of that people are starting to learn how to build on blockchain technology, and that way they don't have to rely on one central leader or one person at the top. Like, we're moving out of those patriarchal pyramids and moving to completely different structures where everyone who's a part of the system is equally involved in it. So they're genuinely publicly owned sites. That's what I see coming in the future. And I know there's some people who are working on it.
No doubt. There's so many Victoria people right now that are already plans in motion. I mean, they're already in building mode. I mean, me personally, I know I'm talking to multiple people that are building grounds on social media platforms. That's one guy, me. Imagine other people like us. There's got to be tens of thousands of them right now trying to break ground on something like this. Mm-hmm. So the good news is that energy's out there to start to build this right now. So when that actually shows up is the thing. But I think there's some people getting pretty close to the finish line that we'll be seeing.
Yeah, and you guys tend to be right up on the beginning of trends. So when this happens, I have no doubt that you guys will figure out how to launch ourselves into it. Because you've been out on the leading edge. Yeah.
We are definitely ready. Yeah. I mean, something has to change. If something doesn't change soon, the snowball is not going to stop.
Yeah. And you got to also, I think just in general, you have to always anticipate what the next moves are going to be. It's life, like our future is really an extension of our present in a sense that a lot of people say. So we have to anticipate what that next move is going to look like. Like for us, again, even though our channel was gone, we were well prepared for it. You know what I mean? So because we just foresight said, look, logically, this is not making sense. And
it still sucks, even though you prepare.
But you prepare. Well, practically you prepare. Emotionally, that's a different thing.
Emotionally, it's totally different story.
But
yeah. So you guys lost your YT channel about a week ago.
I think so. Yeah.
Hang on one second. What just happened there, Jay?
Oh, did you get to?
Hold on, Victoria. I'm sorry.
Everybody's reading your emails right now.
Well, you guys look good to me, but
I'm sorry. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. I don't know what just happened there. Is it normal on your side, Victoria?
Looks fine to me.
Okay, yeah. I apologize. Just leave it, Jay. Okay. So it was last week, and it wasn't because of anything we said, believe it or not. It was because of something we showed. Words on a paper. Wasn't anything we spoke. We just did a 2-minute intro video on a video that we were talking about to go watch at another channel. And we said, this is what we're talking about. Dun, 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 dun. We didn't speak the words.
Wow. So either AI has gotten that good or they just have people assigned to watch episodes. You think it's the AI?
Mm-hmm.
Could be, absolutely. Could be assigned episode. I think a lot of that.
I think the artificial intelligence is so beyond our mind's comprehension advanced.
But I think there's a lot. I think what you said is true too. I think there's a lot of people out there, just like there's like Antifa and organizations. I think there's that infiltration there that they're just they're on the lookout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I definitely would say that it's so super advanced. It's beyond our mind's comprehension how advanced their artificial intelligence is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So now that you are not a 5-figure presence on YouTube, what are you doing now?
Well, yeah. So we always have our membership site, which is spirituallyraw.live, which is where we've always really recommended people go anyway to check us out, because that's where everything's completely uncensored. It's free from the cancel culture, because we asked them first before we even went there. And their position is that we are free from the cancel culture and they're safe from there. So that's where ultimately all of our episodes are, Victoria. Everybody gets to watch them uncensored. They get 3 days for free over there just to try it out. And then as far as on social media, we got a pretty fast start here again on BitChute. So it's BitChute Spiritually Raw /Spiritually Raw. People can check us out there too. UgeTube is another one we use, UGETUBE. That's really good too.
And the collective, the super channels.
And then our super channels, the collective super channel, the spiritual super channel, those are all on, they're already on both BitChute and UgeTube right now. So we've already.
And YouTube.
Yeah, and YouTube right now still, so.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell people, I know what the super channels are, and I'm very excited because you guys basically got the same message from Spirit that I got, which is that we need to start, one, we know that we are the creators of our reality. We can't wait around for a leader to do it for us. We're actually the ones we've been waiting for. And I was being shown, I mean, some of us have been hearing that for years, and it's finally like anchoring into the collective consciousness what that actually means. And so what I was seeing are creating collectives, right? Co-ops, so that we can basically what I call love hack the airwaves. Yeah. And you guys got the same message.
Yeah.
So let my audience know what your super channels are, because they're very exciting.
Thank you very much for that. So the super channel is really for our collective consciousness to work together and, to really get that vibe and really help and maintain a community of sorts to raise that vibration consistently, right? So the way it works is that if you visualize YouTube, we'll use that example because everybody's familiar with it. But let's say someone has a YouTube channel. Well, there'll be like, let's say 10 other shows on that one YouTube channel. And so there may be different messengers. They may have different things. The vibration is still relatively the same. And so when anybody uploads a show onto that, whatever amount of subscribers are there, they all get notified. So each person that's delivering a message really gets to equally share their message with the same amount of people as the next person does. So it really is a true collective. So every messenger out there that's got something important that they want to share, has just an equal shot as the next person. So it's not about, well, how many views did you get or how many this is that. It's like how many people. Everybody's going to get notified. If your message is compelling enough, then more people will watch it.
Right.
So we're bringing more and more of those along, and it started off with a collective, the
collective, and then the quantum.
As a quantum, and then as a beta test, and then from there, then you have people asking, well, hey, what about a spiritual? Can you create one for that? Can you create one for prosperity? A prosperity super channel. We have one of our affiliates, Kathy Hartman. She's got a gay patriot super channel. So the actual, whatever the mind can create as far as it relates to super channels is endless. It's just a matter of they getting communities together that are broadcasters, messengers under the roof, and share that message, because it'll raise that vibration a lot higher, faster.
And what I like about that is that everybody is bringing so everyone has their own channel, but they're bringing their followers, their subscribers all into one channel. So everybody's contributing their subscribers to that one channel. And because of that, it's actually growing the channel itself exponentially.
Yeah. It does grow a lot faster than having it on your own, because like you said, there's just multiple people that are like, hey, see me on here. So, if you have 10 people talking about a channel, it's just logically going to grow 10 times faster.
Right. Yeah. So it's what I call creating a win-win-win.
Exactly.
The win-lose paradigm is part of the old paradigm that we're moving away from.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah.
So what else is new for you guys?
Well, what else is new? So we are you?
Well, we are actually in the process of semi-rebranding. We had talked about a little bit in the beginning. Actually, the ASCENSION Truth. Was it before we started recording and you said, last time I was on the show, the first time I was on the show, we had the spiritual raw, but the tagline was, no topic is taboo. And right before we started, And Jay, and we know that's so funny that you mentioned that, because we're actually rebranding it to spiritual raw, no topic is taboo. So the process of doing that, and just really when it rains, it pours, Victoria, but it's all good. It's like you have to look at things like, what? You can either take everything that happened in the past week, because things always happen in threes, and they definitely happen in threes. It was like the YouTube, and then it was something else, and it was something else, You could either take that and just say, I'm done. This is too much stress. I don't want to do it. I can't do it anymore. Or you're like, what, screw this, and you're going to fight back. And you realize that the universe is taking things out of your life because they have a much bigger plan, and they're replacing it with something much bigger and greater. You may not be able to realize it or understand it right now when you're going through it, but you can't deny the fact that the universe didn't get us this far to end it, right? So you have to understand the philosophy and the higher vibration of the universe is shutting one door to allow another door to open. And that's exactly what, so we're kind of in a strange little way going through like a transition. And during that, we thought, what, this would be a great time to rebrand it a little bit, just put a little bit of a tweak on it and not move away from, I'll tell you what we are moving away from and moving more towards what we're saying right there, and moving away from the hopium. We after the election, we had already started moving away from it, but I can honestly say now I am so done with it. I'm so over it. I'm so past it. I don't want to think about it. If it's not here, and I'm not saying, listen, don't say something, you're projecting something to happen in the future. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, when you keep hearing the same story over and over and over and over again, and you're not feeling the energetic vibration of it happening, just let things go and focus on what's important in your own life. Focus on what's going to help raise the vibration. Focus on what's going to help raise our own vibration. Focus on what's going to help get us to the next level.
And it's not only just that, it's like, it's really, as messengers, as broadcasters, you know, there's a responsibility that comes with. So
absolutely.
It's like, and what you find happening is, and we get emails all day long, is, hey, do you know when this is happening? Do you know when that's happening? I heard this is happening. I heard this happened yesterday. Did you hear anything about that? And it's like, and so we made a pretty conscious choice. Hey, let's not get into that. Hey, this happened yesterday. This is happening on 12 o'clock Tuesday game. Because that's only going to really, in my opinion, from experience, is going to hurt people.
Backfire.
And they literally stop doing their work. I'm not paying my bills because I got $20 million coming next week, or I'm not paying my mortgage, or don't worry about that, or, you know, screw the man because I got all this. And they take that position. And I gotta tell you, more so than I think that I've ever seen now. And I thought 10 years it was crazy, remember, ago, but now it's like insane. So we decided, like, I don't want to be, you know, we are like, I believe hope is fundamentally, you know, it's the most important thing we have. You know, we need hope to stay alive, right? You know, so we don't want to take away that. We're not saying that at all. It's just like, say, but you have to take control of yourself and be part of that solution, not wait for the solution to come through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what the issue has been, is that people keep waiting for someone else to come to the rescue.
Yeah.
Someone else to save them. And really understanding that I mean, I know what you guys are talking about. I played with that, with the GCR and the SARGs. I've been in that realm for 12 years now.
12 years, exactly.
And there have been times I kept putting my work off. And I can't, and I read something a couple of weeks ago, we're closer than we've ever been. And I was like, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to punch someone. Because I've been hearing that for years. So, and I'm not saying that to discourage people, because our attitude, our envisioning it happening is what will make it come into fruition.
Exactly.
Right? So be part of envisioning it, but not wait for it.
Exactly. I think so many people just are in the exact same energy that you just said, like you're over it. And there is the danger zone is when you stop your life and you put your life on hold.
Right.
Right. So not to say, listen, is it going to happen in the future? Absolutely. There's high probability that all of it's going to happen. All we're saying is don't put your own life on hold waiting for it to happen.
I mean, think about the relationships that are ruined. Think about the people that have literally passed away,
heart attacks, strokes.
Because, hey, it didn't happen at this moment. So there's a responsibility, I think, that comes along with just like, hey, you know what? And I'm not saying just even us, but people need to be responsible for themselves. Like if you're in it, I look at it this way. Listen, it's a bond. One day it's going to mature. One day something will mature. That's it. And whenever that day is, I'll be notified. And until then, I create my own global reset. I create my own revalue. You know what I mean?
Not even so much.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Not only that, though. Not only the GCR, because that's inevitable. I mean, when you think about the restructuring of currencies, that just makes logical sense. It has to happen at some point. That's logical sense right there. I'm also talking about the political environment.
And we are the ones that will change it. That's what people need to understand. It is not going to change until we, the people, do something to change it.
So true.
Exactly.
Without us changing it.
Exactly. So that's the whole.
Well, you know what's so interesting is
the whole thing. No. What I was about to say is, you couldn't have said that any better, because everybody is talking and talking and talking, but what's really getting done? What's really What's
nothing.
Really changed?
Well, you know,
absolutely nothing.
Well, the reason nothing's, I mean, I tell you,
really not on the grand scheme of things.
So
from my perspective, I can't really see anything politically that is
not until we actually take action. So here's one of the things that it took me a while to grasp about being the change we want to see in the world. So how many people are sitting at home saying, I am being the change. I am being the light. I am being the love. That's great. We all have to be that. But there's something about being in inspired action. That is like being it, embodying it, and then being it. So being the change we want to see in the world isn't just sitting back and holding the love and light inside ourselves. It's about actively being that. And nothing's going to change until we make conscious choices to actually do something about it. Not just talk about it.
You got to start at politically though. You have to start at a local. Here's what nobody does. And I'm not, and I know this is kind of like nobody wants to do this because they live in their community. But the reality is if you don't start with your local level politicians, you're never going to get to the top because everybody's going from 0 to 1 million, and you can't touch 1 million right now. You got to go to the city council, to the mayor, and the mayor pushes back on the senators and the governors, and then the governors pushes back on it's got to go uphill. But nobody wants to do that. They want to say, let me just go to Washington. You know what I mean? Let me, wherever I'm at, let me just go to here. Let me just go to here. That's what they want to do. They want to not, and I don't want to minimize when people go through those things, but I'm saying the way that it's going to make an impact is if you hit at the local level, because then the local level's hands will be forced to do something. Right now, they're just sitting back and be like, God damn, I'm glad it ain't happening to me. You know what I mean? Is what they're doing.
So what I was being shown a couple of years ago is that one, about 10 years ago, the message that came in from me about the corruption on the planet is that the corruption goes all the way from the very top to the very bottom. And I couldn't grasp that. I was like, what do you mean the very bottom? You mean like my local mayor and the city council? It's like, yeah, the corruption goes all the way down to that. And I had a hard time understanding that until within the last year. Really, now it's become very, very obvious what that looks like. And then the other thing I was being shown is that we have to start at the very, very bottom to create these new systems. That means creating communities, creating it within our own businesses, creating co-ops instead of patriarchal pyramids in our own businesses, making it a proof of concept. Once we have a proof of concept at the very, very bottom, that proof of concept then starts to move outward and creates an entirely new reality. That's the way we change our federal government, is by first creating it within our own lives.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I was about to say, because you know what? It starts with ourselves. The only way that we're going to change globally is you have to change within first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, there's only so much that all of us can do on a political scale to change that, right? But what we all can do and what we all have control over is our own bodies.
Right.
And we have been right now so inundated with fear of everything. And people have been brainwashed. So I think the very first thing that people have to do before they even think to get to that point, because they can't even think to get to that point because they are so inundated with fear and they are so brainwashed. So I think, from my perspective, is trying to first, not so much, okay, so this kind of even goes back to, well, listen, would we love the whole world to be awake? Yes, obviously, but that's not even realistic because that may not be their destiny. But what did Sonny say the other day? Wake up the sleeping lions. Not wake up the sleeping dead, but wake up the sleeping lions, because there are so many sleeping lions out there. And I think the more collectively that we're,
wake up the lions,
consciously and collectively doing that, now we're creating more power. We're creating less fear. The sleepers are going to be the sleepers no matter, we could talk to them till they're blue in the face. And again, maybe that's just their destiny. Maybe that's the balance in the universe. Maybe we need to have that for the balance. But until we all, take that, and it's not easy. Going within and really, coming to that place, it's not an easy road. It's a lot easier to fall into the fear, and it's a lot easier to feed, just go down the road of what someone's telling us to do. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of support. It takes a lot of going within to be able to stand up and be like, you know what? I'm just not going to take it anymore. I'm going to take back control of my own life. And then once I take control back of my own life, the sky's unlimited.
Right. And a lot of people want to bypass that process.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can't.
You can't really do that.
You cannot bypass that. It will never work.
The inner work is not, it's not easy. I always say it's not for the faint of heart. But when you go through that process of what I call disbelieving everything you've ever believed, on the other side is bliss. That's where heaven on earth is. It's inside after we've peeled off all of the layers of what isn't us and what isn't true. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard part for people to grasp. And as you were saying, we have no idea what another person's path is. The only person's path we can possibly know is our own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. That's
exactly.
So true. Yeah, because it's not our job. We're not Robin Hood. You know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is. And people I know want to try to change everybody else. Look, we can share information to people at a mass level like what we do, and hopefully they grab onto something out of it, but they're still gonna do their own thing,
Yeah.
So why get aggravated?
Hey Jay.
Hey Victoria.
Can you scoot a little bit closer?
I was out of
am I out of realm?
Yeah. Well, sometimes, but then your face gets chopped in half.
So you got half the message.
Well, we can hear it from the sidelines.
No problem. I got you. All right.
Yeah. So
we focus on
the other thing Spirit was explaining to me a couple of days ago, going back to the whole GCR and the windfall of prosperity that is coming at some point. We know we are moving into the golden age of humanity, and we know we are moving into prosperity for all, and we know the light wins. We know that. What we don't know is what we have this thing called the Earth timeline. There's no way. When I communicate with Spirit and ask for dates, they're like, nope, can't give you dates. It's nearly impossible to pinpoint dates on a calendar because it's the most complex game ever written. And what happens on our planet is a reflection of 8 billion people's choices. So, so that's why it's about us holding the vibration of the world we want to see, and envision the world we want to create, and not wait for the money to show up. However, here's the other thing I was being shown a couple of days ago, that even when the money does show up, we need to still play it for probably 6 months like it hasn't. It needs to look like business as usual, to not tip off the people that we don't want to have tipped off about it. So behind the scenes, we can be creating this new reality, but on the surface, it still has to look the same.
Yeah.
So I think people need to understand that. Continue building what they're building.
Absolutely.
Continue to look that way. Even if we're creating something else back here, up on the surface, it's going to continue to look like business as usual. And if we're putting our lives on hold, waiting for the tornado, and I'm saying this, not even say the pennies from heaven. What they're waiting for is like a thundercloud from heaven to open up and be pummeled with money from heaven. Well, that may very well happen. We need to continue down what appears to be the present path while we build something else in the background. So we might be building, new social media on blockchain technology, or new video, a new YouTube type of show on blockchain technology, or building an entirely new conscious media on blockchain technology. Back here, it takes a while to build things. On the front, on the surface, we need to continue doing what we're doing and not wait for the blessing to happen, because it's our vibration is what's going to cause the blessing to happen.
I just thought about something you just said, because I hear people say that all the time, for the blessing to happen. You know what? It's actually 111. Just when I looked up at the clock, it's 111.
In our time zone, anyway. Yeah.
Maybe we should start saying it's already happened.
It's already happened. Well, it has. It's 10:10 my time, which is the same vibration, right? The windows of the universe are open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has already happened.
You got to bring
Because when you think about it, it is already, if it's already in our mind and in our imagination, it's already been created. So it technically has already happened. But I think a lot of people get tripped up and they say waiting for it to happen, or because I hear lots of people say that, waiting for the blessing to come, it's already here.
Mm-hmm.
And every day is a blessing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And even with the windfall of prosperity, and you guys, because you guys have, about my 6D money tree program, right?
Wow, I love it.
That nothing that occurs on the physical field hasn't already occurred spiritually. So it's already occurred energetically. It just has to get physically manifested. And the higher we raise our vibration, the faster it will manifest. That's what people need to understand. If they want something to happen quickly in their lives, their own vibration is what causes it to manifest. It's already done.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't shown up on the physical field yet.
Yeah.
We see the process by our vibration.
Yeah, the thoughts wouldn't be there if it hasn't been created.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So rather than wait for it to happen, act like it's already done. Continue moving forward with the dreams and the plans and the goals, and get busy with starting communities within our community. I was getting that very clear yesterday that we need to start creating communities, physical communities within our community.
I think that's a great idea.
Imagine this. Imagine if you had a bunch of people who got together for their own little community, and people within that community are the ones that run for office within the city community. And then that entire new board of directors is all people who are working in the light, because we all got together and decided who was going to run for office.
And
that's why I think it's going to go.
I was just about to say that I could totally see that happening, where even, within the United States, maybe parts of the state, wherever you are, is going to start to split, whether or not, maybe parts of the country certainly will start to split. But I wouldn't be surprised to see pockets within the state start to split. And that would be awesome to see.
Yeah, and I do see that happening. I know I read something a few weeks ago about a school district where that happened, where enough people all got together and they changed the entire school district over to all people who were awake. And,
wow.
the school district said, we're getting rid of masks.
Yeah. Excellent.
because everybody who was on the school board, well, I don't know if the school district, it might have been the school board for a particular school. And so that particular school changed how it does things. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing is, right, we all get together and we create our communities, and then people run for office, and that's who gets voted in office because they get so much support. And that's how we change the systems. Mm-hmm. Start right at the grassroots levels, right in our own communities. And that's spread outward.
That's such a reach out and like you can touch it experience.
Exactly.
It's that close from that happening.
Start with having meetings in your house and having these conversations. That the changing the world doesn't happen by changing the entire world. It starts in ourselves, and then in our as my kids call it, our friend group. Right? And then that's what spreads outwards.
That's why we started the Collective Super Channels, was to get the everyday person who maybe they were not professionals at all, but they have a message and they have a passion, and they needed an outlet to be able to awaken their voice. Mm-hmm. That was the whole philosophy behind the Super Channels, was to help collectively to get people off of the bleachers and down into the ballpark to start speaking. Because the more people start speaking, the more that they start opening up their throat chakra, the more the vibration is going to raise. And the more people raise their vibration, the quicker we are going to alter the course of humanity.
That's right. And those super channels are also a great place for mutual support too.
Big time.
Absolutely.
That's the coolest thing. You see people that are connecting there that have never met together. There's no reason they would ever know each other. Starting to do shows together.
Yeah.
Starting to just make great collaborations together. It's really a beautiful thing to see, unfold like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
panels.
super challenge. I actually see that concept like taking over the world. I mean, I know that within the next couple of years, we will have new TV, new everything, and it is all going to be based on the light, the truth, and eventually the old world will fade away because it must. It's not sustainable. What we are creating is sustainable. Well, beyond sustainable, because I would say that nobody wants mere sustenance. So, right,
and then they should have to live like that.
And in that prosperity.
Yeah,
and those old systems will just start to self implode because they don't have the ability to sustain themselves, and certainly no longer grow because even the funding, the financing won't be going toward those.
Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, I love what you guys are doing. I think the super channels are.
Thank you very much.
Likewise. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We're going for the ride. Yeah. We're on for the ride. You know what I mean? Okay.
That's what I started to say in the beginning, and I got sidetracked when you'd asked about everything that was going on with YouTube, and that's exactly why they're doing what they're doing. That's another reason why they're cracking down on the censoring so much, because they want to try to break your spirit. They want to try to get you to the point that you say, you know what, screw it. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And that's all the more reason why, collectively, the more that we energetically raise the vibration, just like what you were saying, it's all gonna,
So stay strong, everybody. You have to. And stay together.
Vanish into the ether.
We're stronger together. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. We are stronger together. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what these companies don't understand? Because I always say that people who work in the dark, you can't see in the dark, that in the darkness there is no vision. What they don't understand, and what Spirit was showing me very clearly, is that by censoring people, they will end up creating their own demise, because people will just people will just go someplace else. So they will cease to exist. Everything has a lifespan, and YouTube will eventually cease to exist, and Facebook will eventually cease to exist, because people are just going to go someplace else.
Yeah,
which they're already doing. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a great time to be alive.
It is.
I mean, seriously, when you think about it,
we got interesting stories.
We're living in probably the greatest time ever. We're living through a storybook. We're living through prophecy. We're creating literally, as we can see, we are literally creating our reality. Before, like even 10 years ago when you were on before, you used to think about, geez, that'd be so cool if, you talk about people saying they create their reality, but you can literally see now.
You are doing it. You're manifesting it
now
big time. It's happening at real speed.
And creating it literally in, real time.
Well, the difference is that before, people were unconsciously creating their reality.
Yeah.
Now people are consciously creating their reality.
Yeah.
And when you consciously create your reality, it manifests much, much faster and with more grace and ease than unconsciously being a part of the collective creating the reality.
Yeah, exactly. So true.
So we're at a point in time, I think, for the first time in our human story, where enough of us grasp the concept that we are consciously creating our reality. We're not just at the whim and fancy of I mean, for me, like, I grew up with this idea that God had my life all planned out for me, and I felt like a pawn in this game, because he was not a very nice God, the one in my religion. And that I had no role in the creation of my reality. I remember I was in my 20s the first time I heard that, and I was like, what? I don't understand. Well, and now I do. And I think that enough of humanity is waking up to this idea of consciously creating our reality.
Yes.
That whatever person's perception is of the infinite allness, many call God, that it works through us. that we're not separate from it. It works through us. And that's how we're the creators of our reality, you know. And instead of begging God to change things on our behalf, it's about going inside and saying, what can I do?
Tap the source.
Tap source, or pray up to God, however it is that you communicate with spirit, and say, God, what is it? What is my role? What can I do? What can you do through me that can make this world a better place? And what we all know, I know for a fact that human beings are capable of creating heaven on earth. I know that. Every part of me knows that that's possible. We just need enough other people to believe that's possible.
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
We only really need 51% really to tip the scale. And when you think about that, that's very, very, very doable. It may not happen overnight, but every day, more and more people are waking up. More and more people are becoming more alert. More and more people are becoming more conscious. More and more people are connecting. More and more people are starting to believe. More and more people are seeing the truths of the realities right in front of them. More and more people every day are starting to question. More and more people every day are searching for the truth. So we are starting to tip the scale. We only have to tip it 51%.
It's closer than you think, and I'll tell you why. So I attended an event in 2012 with Jean Houston, who's a social scientist, and a couple of other people. And what she was saying is that, in my understanding, is that love returned to the planet in 1963. It started with the hippie movement in 1963. That's when the love consciousness, that's when the ascension actually began. It's been growing by 3% a year since then. So in 2012, it was up to 35%.
Great.
Wow. That's great.
So if it's growing by 3% a year since 2012, we got to be pretty darn close to 51%.
Thank you, Victoria. Really exactly. Yes.
And I see it everywhere. I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago who said people aren't waking up. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it is the number of people that are having their awakening experience it's everywhere.
It's insane. It's insane. And the energy is just projecting like all around. Like everybody's grabbing everybody's energy right now. You could feel that.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's wild. It's a wild ride we're in.
And then you have the other ones, the semi-sleepers that are starting to question and starting to wake up, but they're keeping it to themselves. You know, so how many of those, silent sleepers are on the fence? Probably more than we realize.
Well, I was like that for a long time.
Yeah. They don't want to say anything.
They don't want to say anything. Exactly.
Well, because afraid of that fear of rejection.
Being shocked. Exactly.
Yeah. So I did that for a long time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then there are people who this is it's when I talk to people about the Great Awakening, I see it across, there's two aspects of it. So you have people who have been spiritually awake for a long time. They're the most loving, wonderful, delightful people and completely clueless. Right? So they're not awake. I call them not informationally awake. Then we have other people who are very well aware of all the corruption on the planet, but they're not spiritually awake. So both sides have to finish their waking up process. Both sides are on the 4D bridge. They're no longer stuck in 3D. And very few people are in a 5D consciousness. We can dip into it once in a while. So most of those people who are in that awakening process are somewhere on that 4D bridge. Nobody gets to 5D without going through 4D. And that's where the awakening process happens. And nothing about the awakening process is easy. It's not easy because again, all of your beliefs have to be checked. And so that's where I think people are. Once the people who are spiritually awake have access to the information, I always keep saying that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with because they're already spiritually awake. Once they how that's been played. That it's an entire army of light workers, and they'll take the planet by storm.
Any day now.
Yeah, you know what else too, and I don't want to say that word, but for people that have taken that word, maybe there's a reason for that too. Because, if they have made that decision, and who knows what their health is like at the time or in the future, but it's eliminating a lot of that darker, negative, low vibration energy. So for all the ones that are awake, haven't done the deed, right? So again, it's a matter of tipping the scale.
Right. And I was explaining to a friend of mine yesterday that the lower vibration energies are going to be transitioning off the planet.
Exactly.
They just are. And most of them are the older generation that have been through fear their entire lives. It's not like there's a conspiracy that anybody over 70 is leaving. That's just part of the natural human experience, that people transition off the planet after they hit a certain age. So allow that process to be what it is. The reason is inconsequential. The truth is they are transitioning out.
Yep.
Because their physical bodies cannot handle the level of light that's coming in. I was being shown that like a year and a half ago, that there would be a lot of people whose bodies couldn't transition to light speed. And so they're transitioning off the planet.
Yeah, for sure.
We're seeing it with our own neighbors, people that we know that are really being really, really physically affected by the higher vibrations. And I mean, we're actually seeing it make people that we know, people that we love, it's like they becoming decrepit.
They're unrecognizable.
Yeah, like they really are.
Their spirit,
their whole physiology, their
lost,
spirit,
the light in their eyes is gone. Everything. And this is multiple people. This is around. You see that?
Yeah.
Literally, there's no light left. Yeah.
And I think it's less about the reason they're transitioning out. And you can blame it on this and blame it on that and whatever. It is just that their bodies can't hold the new light waves that are coming in. When it comes to it doesn't matter what side of the story you're looking at. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
I totally agree.
That's for sure.
Yep.
That's for sure.
So I try not to go too much into the blame game and just look at it from the higher perspective. And from the higher perspective, it's just their time to transition off the planet. We're creating a new planet with new vibrations, and that those people who are holding that heaviest fear vibration just can no longer be here. They might transition back through in a new body at a higher vibration, but in this particular physical form, they can't be here.
Yep.
The planet actually can't sustain that lower vibration anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's now at a higher vibration, right?
Well said.
Before we go, because we only have a couple of minutes left, we're also working on another project together. And this is kind of one of your missions on the planet is the HempWorks.
Yeah, absolutely. So the HempWorks is awesome, and you got your link right too, Victoria?
Yeah, I'm gonna find it here really quick.
Somewhere in there, somewhere in that bag of goodies.
It is.
There you go. Yeah, so we're working on it together. Just because there's tools out there that can help us. We're talking here, we're having this conversation about raising vibrations. More importantly, sustaining that vibration, you know what I mean, to keep it level right there. And we're finding out, you're finding out, we're finding out. I mean, from all the testimonials, the emails we get, it's what's working for people. I don't know if you know this, but we actually talked to somebody, but CBD actually vibrates at the frequency of love. So the actual science behind it vibrates at that 432, right? Is it 432?
Yeah.
And so it vibrates at that 432. So there's a real science behind this. It's not just a woo-hoo thing, you know what I mean? And so you get enough people that actually take something that puts them at 432, there's your answer right there. And then now all you got to think about is like the the quality of what you're taking or the purity of it, our research has shown us, and a lot of people, that hemp works really is like you call it, the Rolls Royce of it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Without the Rolls Royce price, but it's the Rolls Royce of it all. I mean, it's like next level CBD. It's next level hemp. I mean, you take it, you feel like you're enlightened. You feel, just the anxiousness, nervousness, all that stuff just doesn't appear. You're just you're absent of those things. So you're able to take adversities, you're able to take circumstances, which come along every day, and they just don't seem to be that important. So
you're not as affected.
Yeah, you're not as affected by it. So it's really pretty cool. And I was like, when we first took it, I mean, the first thing I said is like, holy crap, I feel like I found God.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly do. I feel like this is how you're supposed to feel.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to feel like this, mind, body, spirit. And then reason we started talking about it, we came at it from a point of obligation, like, hey, everybody, there's something out there, check it out. That's where we came at it. So yeah, it's a project, it's a movement, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, if people haven't already, they just got to, for their sake, their family's sake, if they're feeling any of those things, you know what I mean? Or not feeling like they're at par or at peak performance. And people know if they're not at par or peak performance, definitely peak performance is what you want. So if you're not feeling peak performance, go to that link.
I hadn't thought about it until you mentioned it, but there is definitely a sense of like calm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A calm in the storm that comes with it. I hadn't even thought about that before.
Totally.
And I take it multiple times a day, just if I feel like I need more or less. And I hadn't thought about that anxiety is gone. It's just it's the calm, right? That like
it's just the calm.
Kind of
people are like, well, what am I supposed to
ride the storm, the waves a lot
it does.
smoother.
It's like what I mean. The best way for me to describe it is people are like, well, I'm not. What am I supposed to look for? It's like I don't know if you're supposed to look for anything as much as you're absent of things that you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're not going to get high off, but I mean that's what people are looking for.
Yeah, you're not getting something. You're
a chemical high. Yeah.
I feel like I took a shot of coffee or caffeine or alcohol or smoked a joint or whatever. It's not like that. It's just working within the body's what the body already has, the receptors the body has, and it just turns them on. So the body can now start to do its work, to work in balance and harmony. That's how I see it. That's how I feel about it. That's my experience with it.
Yeah, and I've got to agree with that. Well, and they have the essential oils too, which I have them everywhere in my house. I have like 4 diffusers in my house, and I'm a big essential oil fan, and I use it. Like April, I was telling you a couple of weeks ago, I have it in my bathtub, and it smells like I've been in the spa.
That's so nice. What a great way to enter your house and have that aroma, and you're just having this feeling of calm and peace and tranquility.
Like you walk into a spa.
Awesome.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should be walking.
And then the other thing with the hemp works, if you guys want to talk about it real quick, is how it's being used to help broadcasters get their voices out there. Because this isn't just about taking the product for ourselves. Yes, that's very important, and it's also creating an opportunity for people who want to be seen and heard. As Spirit was telling me back in January, that there need to be so many of us on camera that when people turn on the TV or turn on all they see is love and truth and light and harmony, and that they can't even find the fear-based stories anymore. So we all need to be on camera. Yeah. And you guys have kind of created an environment for anybody who wants to be a part of broadcasting, that this also assists them with generating an income as well, rather than having to rely on like YouTube ads.
Yeah, correct. So there's 2 businesses to be in, and this has stood the test of time. Is something in health and wellness and something related to money, right? So this is the health and wellness side. And pets, yeah. So health and wellness, I mean, but it's all there. But we said a couple of years ago, before we ran into HempWorks, Victoria, we were actively searching to get into the CBD or the medical marijuana business for a very long time, literally having meetings with people about how do we get that, how do we get our distributorship, because we knew, number one, it's very necessary in today's world, you know, to tap into that, to be able to utilize something like that. Number two, it's an incredible time to be in that business because there's already a lot of marketing done for you as far as the awareness of what it is, cannabis, CBD. So this came along, we started putting it in. So when we started to create the super channels, a lot of that came along with, well, I'm going to do a message, but how do I earn a living out of it? How do I make money out of it? So everybody on the super channel, we also help them get set up as a HempWorks affiliate also, so they can start, you know, having that little,
just like Victoria,
you're doing like they're having that little ticker rolling down at their bottom, where when people click on their link, then, you know, they are paid that way too. So not only are they using the product, but they're also sharing something so vitally important, you know, at this stage in humanity, which is, you know, ways to just be able to feel great about yourself. You know, when a lot of people have every reason not to feel great about themselves. You see what I mean? So this is a step up for them. So it gets them in the broadcasting game to speak out their, like you said, their throat chakras, their truth, gets them an opportunity to get paid in something that people are asking for anyway. So there you have it. You know, it's a successful formula. People run in there, and you know, it's like anything else in life. People talk about it because they're passionate about anything, and that's what it is. You talk about the feeling that it makes you feel like. We talk about the melatonin a lot because I take it before I go to bed 30 minutes, and because I love it. I got 6 bottles of it because I'm not living without it. I swear to God, I do.
Not joking.
No, because I take it at 30 minutes late. I know now, my mind's programmed for it. I know that if I take it 30 minutes before to go, I'm out 30 minutes later. Just like and I don't even know I dozed off, which is the best part about it, you know. And I wake up refreshed. I get in what I need, and boom, I start my day. It's good, you know. So
yeah.
But I would say to you, you know, absolutely. So if I may share this, Victoria, with your audience, is that if people want to reach out and learn how to open up their message and be part of the super channels to, you know, connect through you on that would be great. You know, and, you know, we can definitely talk and make sure we got a fit going, but we'll help them. You know, we'll help them get to that other side of it. We'll help them get that courage they need, that most importantly, confidence. And what will happen, I'll tell you real quickly, is what will happen is once they start, they'll look back 30 days from now and they won't even recognize that person. You know, they just won't even recognize that person. They'll just be at such a different level. It's a really beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, and I'm laughing a little bit inside. It's kind of like it's given me a little bit of liquid courage.
Absolutely.
Really?
That is so true. That we might have to steal that.
Don't steal it for sure. Don't write anything. Just steal it.
You're so right about
liquid
that.
Courage.
Because it really kills all the kills the fear factor, but it also takes away like a lot of your inhibitions. And just it gives you more courage.
Yeah. You're not so focused, and you live more in the present.
That's the other thing I was.
Which is really the most important thing. So you're aware, you know, because you're in the present more. So yeah. Thanks for letting me share that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been on for over an hour, which you know, the 3 of us could talk for days.
That's for sure.
But we're gonna have to call our episode for today complete. Thank you so much and for being a presence in my life. I love that whenever you have something new out on the leading edge, that I'm one of the first people that you call on, because it's been we've been on quite an adventure together over the last 10 years.
Yes, we have. It's been our honor knowing you, Victoria.
Yeah, and thank you for always thinking of me and bringing me into your newest schemes.
Our wov.
That's what Alex used to call it when he was like 3, is wov.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's just the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Just getting started, and whatever this new world is that we're creating together, and
that's right.
And I look forward to at least another 10 years of playing on camera with the 2 of you.
Thank you very much. Likewise, for sure.
From your lips to God's ears, my dear.
Or goddess.
Goddess's ears.
Be safe. Call them both out. Right?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for being the loving presence that you are on the planet, and for all that you are doing for humanity. We're all in it together, right?
That's
absolutely. Right. Takes a village.
Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you. We actually have a bunch of people watching. Some people who are my crew, some people who are your crew, and some people who know us both, which is fantastic. So we've got
thank you so much
in the comments for all of your loving comments and for being the loving presence that all of you are on the planet, because we can't do it without each other, right?
That's
absolutely
right.
And as I always say to my audience, remember to hold your light so high others can't help but see their own light. And until next time, get bold, be fearless, and live free.
Amen. Love you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.